You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 10th meeting for the Michigan City Board of Aviation Commissioners. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Board of Aviation Commissioners meeting called to order. We're meeting at the Michigan City Airport Terminal. It's now 1:00 p.m. and today's Thursday, April 10, 2025. The members present are Jeff Bartlett, Greg William, myself, T.Y. Oakson, members absent, Kirk Hunter. We do have a quorum. Others present, Jessica Ward, Airport Manager. Let's see, Paul Schaefer, Engineer, BS&F, and Tim Werner, City Engineer. Let's see, all right, I think that's it.
I'm just Scott. I'm public.
Okay, that Scott is also present.
And Nancy's walking in.
Okay, Nancy's walking in.
Yay,
Let's just give it a second.
She gets a seat at the table.
Acknowledge her.
Or you got one.
Hey, Nancy.
Nancy, how are you? We're all around.
Good, okay.
You said you they got a folder for you and everything already.
That's great. Okay, so others present, Nancy Mountain and Howard City, Michigan City Council liaison to the board. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see, I haven't up to look at the minutes from March 13th. Did everybody else get a chance to look at them?
Yes.
Okay, all not in favor?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes for March 13th.
I'll second.
2025.
Okay, all not in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor?
Oh.
All in favor?
Oh.
He caught you.
I wanted to make sure you was paying attention.
Not following Robert's Rules of Order.
A little bit more, right?
He was going outside the
Well,
checklist.
maybe you just misstated it. See where he's going now. It's gonna be one of those.
Keep your eye on him now.
I
think it passed.
Motion carried. Okay, reports.
All right, account balances. So we currently are under our monthly projected budget and all of our budget lines. We did just receive, wait, that's not right, to save paper and go digital with guidance from other department heads and our IT director, I ordered this fancy, remarkable tablet. Woo woo! It's really cool. It takes notes directly in PDFs and documents. It imports presentations and Word documents. It converts handwritten notes to typed text. It has folders and tags to stay organized. It has templates for planning, checklists, and meetings. And it integrates with Microsoft OneDrive, which is what I upload all my documents to. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm trying it for the first time at this meeting because I just got it. But I also printed all my stuff just in case of a remarkable emergency. So yeah, just trying to go digital, save on paper. See, I'm right. Don't you touch it. So I just received it. I like it so far, and I'm going to use it to, take the notes for the meetings and stuff like that. So I'm really happy.
Good.
I also purchased a new Bunn commercial coffee pot to replace our old one. I got the same exact one that we had before. It started leaking really bad, and it was over 20 years old. So I'd say we got a really good amount of time out of that. So that's on our claims docket. Fuel sales. Overall, we sold 568.5 gallons of 100 low lead, 921 gallons of Jet A, and 128.1 gallons of unleaded 94 in March. Our current fuel prices are $4.99 for self-service avgas, $5.14 for full-service avgas, $3.99 for both self and full-service Jet A, and $6.45 for self-service UL 94. Summer events. The beach weekend fly-in has been posted, an Eventbrite and social flight. The flyer has been distributed to all airport managers in Indiana, requesting that they post it to their boards or share it with their tenants. The event is for pilots and their families. It's going to take place June 20th through the 22nd. And Paul had a suggestion to send it to the social media manager for Aviation Indiana, so she can also post it on the social media accounts for that. So that was a great idea, and I will be sending it there as well. We also have Airport Day. We're going to be having an Airport Day this summer where we invite the public out to the airport. TY and I were just talking about that. It should be pretty exciting. We're going to have food trucks, other fun aviation-related activities for all ages. The date is pending, so stay tuned. I don't have a date yet. We're trying to move around some dates for the FOP Pancake Breakfast and that, and when we get it set, I will let everybody know when it is. And then the FOP Pancake Breakfast. We're hosting that this summer as well. The date is pending. We're hoping to break last year's record. That was a record-breaking year, so we're hoping to break the sales from that record as well. So stay tuned for that date, but those are going to be our 3 big events this summer. And I have farming property south of Highway 20 update. So last weekend, or the last board meeting, we talked about the easement. You guys approved the easement for the water main, temporary and permanent. So the temporary
Thank you,
easement.
by the way, from the sanitary district and water departments.
Yes. So the temporary easement has been staked. Woodruff and Sons came out here and met with me so I could look at the easement and make sure that I didn't think it was going to really affect the farmer too much because we have somebody farming that property as well this season. So they asked me to have a little extra room other than what the temporary easement was originally going to be staked at because they need somewhere to put their piping. The water main piping, they didn't have anywhere to put that. So I went out there and I just told him to stake that out and I would just talk to the farmer, have him come out and check it out, make sure that it looked good to him. So he came out, he met me out here too, and he said that everything looks fine. The temporary staking where they did for the easement, it shouldn't affect his planting at all this year, so that's really good, so we won't have any issues with that. And he's gonna fertilize at the end of this month. So that's when I'll be out here, pending weather. Gosh, story of aviation life.
Everything.
Pending weather. So that's all my airport.
We're going ahead with the runway.
Yes, yep, nothing's changed on that, but that's under airport development. If you wanna go into that next, we can
So airport
discuss.
development.
We have no action items this month. Just reporting on things you already got going on. The runway seal coating is the project that you just referenced. So we'll be doing a seal coat treatment on top of the runway. It's called Grip Flex. The first one in Indiana, so NDOT is very interested in seeing how it goes. So there'll be crack sealing, they'll mill off some of the previous fold-up repairs that have heaved, seal the runway, and then put the sealant has an aggregate in it. It'll go on there, and then it's thermoplastic, basically coating. So it helps on the surface friction, and it kind of simulates a grooved surface for a groove runway. So it'll give you better braking action in the wintertime. So it'll be interesting product to see how it goes down. So according to the email that we got here,
The 28th.
they plan to mobilize on the 28th and close the runway on the 29th to begin work. They'll mill starting out and do crack sealing and mastic on the 30th. And they have basically 2 weeks from that day contractually to get the runway back open. They might get it done a little faster, but contractually they have 2 weeks. So please notify the tenants accordingly.
Yep, they've been notified and we're all ready to start.
Okay.
Is that over the whole runway surface, the reflex?
Pray for no rain for those 2 weeks.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
And over 50 degrees.
Yeah, the weather can be problematic this time of year. And then you've got 2 grants that are covering that. So it's AIP 29 and AIP 30. Those are the 2. So you can see AIP 29 is 12% financially complete. And that was just some of the, what the grant administration, the grant application, and the spec documents and the engineering that went into that. So the balance of that will fund the construction, and then the balance of AIP 30 is 0% drawn. That will pay for the whole project there between those two. So that's that. And then runway 220 extension, there really is no update. We're still on kind of the same spot. We did prepare some information for the congressional offices. They did ask for funding requests as part of their typical funding request process. So we did submit a packet to them. We went ahead to Mervan's office, and we went ahead and provided the same information to Banks and Young's office as well. So we'll follow up with them as we progress. But just for those in the room, just to refresh everybody's memory, we've got an approved environmental, we have approved runway length justification, we have a approved airport layout plan, which is basically the 20-year plan that's required to have it in place before you build the project. So we have an approved runway protection zone study, which is kind of the justification for the whole project, which is to get the State Road 20 out of the runway protection zone. It's a trapezoid at the end of the runway. So it'll provide great separation between the two. So we got all those things done, which we thought would be a pretty clear sailing path, and that those all got done just before the pandemic. And then our $20 million project grew to a $30 million project, and it now is really hard to find $30 million for an airport this size in the FAA's program. So we continue to shop for the funds, and we won't stop trying. So that's the update on the runway extension. Talked crack ceiling and the fuel farm. So thanks to the city council and your support, we've got our BOT resolution. Actually, it was an ordinance. I'm sorry, the ordinance passed the council, so we're in good there. The FAA wanted some slight wording to the way we had submitted the BOT to them. They have a slightly different program. They don't call BOT. It's a CMAR, but it's not construction manager as constructor like we have it in Indiana code. So we're in the process of meshing up the FAA's process to the state's process in Indiana code 523. And I'm working through that with Joe. Once we do that, we hope that we can get about 30% of the project-ish, well, it's actually 22.5% of the project funded from the FAA. So we'll give that a little more time. We did get the letter back from ITEM saying it is eligible for 50/50 for their eligible portions of the project. So the eligible portions of the project will be like the tank and the pump. Other items that aren't eligible would be like the ballards around the tank, because it's an underground replacement. You don't have ballards underground, so they won't pay for the ballards. They won't pay for the credit card process, or that kind of stuff. But they pay for the bulk of the expensive stuff. So that's the plan. But that's a reimbursable program, so the city cash flows it up front, and then we submit for reimbursement. So, and that's everything that we have going on at this time.
Thank you, Tom. All right. Do we have any old business?
None?
Good. Okay, new business?
None. I do have one thing that I wanted to out. Just last month you guys approved the 8th operating agreement extension for flight services to do the skydive operation this year. You just requested a change in the wording of section 4 here. So that has been changed. I emailed everybody the change, and it says effective immediately, no pet or animal owned by Troy Church or employees, vendors, customers, invitees, independent contractors, licensees, or other person on the grounds of the Michigan City Municipal Airport for the purposes of any activity related to lessee or operation shall be permitted without being on a leash. So that was changed as requested. So this is ready for your signature, but there's no approval needed. You already approved it last meeting.
Okay, so, all right. Claims docket, did everybody get a chance to look at that?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion, we approve the claims docket in the amount of $5,177.36.
Okay, second.
I second it.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, thank you. All right. Let's see, correspondence.
None.
Okay, public comment?
Why is everyone always looking at me? You're the public. I am. Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. Always enjoy hearing what's going on at the airport. I've heard Jessica's reports to the city council, and as I understand it, the airport pays its own way, which is good to hear. I know this is comment and not questions, but these things always bring up questions to me, and I would hope that maybe you could answer. I'm not going to ask any tough stuff. This grid flux seal coating sounds really interesting. I know Aviation approved things is a big deal with a lot of things, but hearing that it's a thermoplastic coating over the entire runway surface, I'm wondering what kind of warranty they give. Because recently in Michigan City, we've had a problem with thermoplastic coating sticking to our asphalt.
Temperature application.
Misapplication. Yeah, and we didn't do it, but a contractor did. And I'm just wondering if we have recourse, if we get a delaminated runway, that would be, as my father would say, a BFD. And would shut us down for a lot more than 2 weeks. So that's just a general question. I wonder what kind of warranty they provide for the grid flux, given it is the first time it's being used. Does the $30 million projected cost of the runway extension account for the Route 20? Does that count that portion of it? What's the road? I can't think of Indiana's.
It's Highway 20, it's just lowering the.
Right,
US 20 is
US 20, Highway 20.
But the Indiana, the acronym, INDA, I couldn't think of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
My
okay.
former employer.
Yeah, used to sign your checks.
Yes.
Now we sign your checks.
Thank you.
And I noticed the runway, I don't remember the exact new length, but it was 01. It was 1 foot over a minimum to meet a new thing.
Yes,
Was
look
it
at
52?
you. 5,001.
5,001.
Yep.
But I look at the map and I see that there's at least a couple hundred extra feet there. Would we gain any utility by maximizing the potential space we have available with that? Because even with the 5,001 feet, that only gets us to like 80% of something for some planes. We're still not at 100% capacity for the planes we're hoping to attract. So, again, I'm a layperson, but it does look like we have a couple hundred extra feet.
Yeah.
And would that open up potential for more?
It looks like there's a couple hundred extra, but it really isn't a couple hundred extra. When you take into account the railroad track and the runway visual range, the clearances that are required.
Yeah.
We brought the threshold as far back as we could absolutely bring back. And then you look forward and you say, well, we need a precision approach on top of this. Precision approaches come way in low, so they require more clearances, from trees and obstacles.
Well, there are some airports where, they have to do crop duster kind of like landings. Because one of those airports.
That's
Well,
true.
we can do that here too. I don't think you can do it on an instrument approach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are pretty,
Well, if you-
as they start coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, so not depicted on that picture, there's what Greg's talking about, there's a runway safety area, which is a larger rectangle that goes around the runway. And in this case, it goes 600 feet beyond the end of the threshold of the physical pavement, which is part of the reason when you drive out now and you look at 20, there's pavement that's within 200 feet of 20. But you'll see a white line that's painted up 600 feet from 20.
Oh.
And that is because that's called a displaced threshold. And we displace it because that 600 feet has to be beyond the end of that white painted bar.
I'll look for that.
To get to the ground, to get to the ground.
Well, I don't really see it on the runway.
Oh, you can't see that 20? No.
Look
at there.
It's where the lights are. If you're going on 20 and you look at the runway, there's like lights going horizontal to where you are. That's where the
Absolutely.
space
Yeah, that's a good way to look
Yeah.
too.
And then the final question regarding the runway extension. I know it's been a goal of the airport for many, many years.
Over 20,
Over 20.
Wow.
literally.
Has there been an economic analysis of kind of a payback, given that it opens up some capacity, but not really a ton? And I'm sure the number was easier to meet at $20 million, or 20 years ago, $10 million,
Yeah.
than it is at 30 million. I mean, is it economically worthwhile to even pursue? Would be my final public comment.
Yeah, certainly at the beginning of the project, we didn't have to do a physical cost-benefit analysis. We did something that was similar to one. And one of the things that we accounted for was exactly what you're saying is how does it grow? How does the economic impact? So there's an economic impact statement with the purpose and need that was submitted to the FAA. That was at the origin of the project, of this part of the project, which occurred when BFNS came on board back in 2015, I believe, 10, 12 years ago maybe.
Yes.
And 'cause prior to 2014 or 15, we tried to go north, and we were doing that for 15 years, and that's when the EPA came down. And EPA came down and said no to that direction. So that's where BFNS came in and said, well, have we tried to go south? The original cost of the program, it was really in the $10 million range, which wasn't including a taxiway at the time. That was going to be an add-on. It was only the runway. Then the FAA, all the different meetings, they decided, you know what, why don't we put in the taxiway? Well, then that just elevated it up to an 18, almost 20 million program, and that occurred back prior to 2020, probably around 2018, 2019. And then from there, now we're 6-7 years in, and that $20 million program or project is now closer to 30.
COVID hit with inflation.
Right, and in this time frame, a lot of dynamics occurred where the FAA, they kind of changed the way they were going to award grants in the project. So every time we got really close, they would change the way they did it. It's like all of a sudden,
Moving away.
we're back at the end of the line again. And it was like, what? We were just at the front of the line. Now it switched. It went upside down. I was like, okay.
But you also have to be considerate of political groups coming into office and leaving office. And those groups have caused adjustments in value. So I thought we had a documentation that invited a whole lot of pilots and jet pilot owners and community members to sort of add their value to it. That's,
Absolutely. That was one during our purpose and need, and getting one of the bigger points on the purpose and need was the number of flights and the type of flights, and what kind of flights would we get in if we did go to a 5,000-foot runway. And that's what TY is referring to, is those area pilots that fly like the Cessna jets, the Citation type planes that require a long runway. They're the ones who participate in that part of the
We also have to do a justification study, so you have to justify your runway length by saying, none of these aircraft can fly in here now at the current length, but if the runway is this long, they will come.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to go out, find airplanes that aren't landing here now, but would land here then, and we had over double justification that we needed for this project, so.
This one, one last final little thing.
Sure.
Given that you couldn't go north because they found a
Endangered sedge plains.
a very nice ecological paradise there.
Yes.
And Nancy is a big part of our Sustainability Commission. I'm wondering if maybe on Earth Day or some airport day or some other day, you could maybe have a little hike through there to show people. Clearly the runway would have to be closed for that, but maybe, that would show people why we have to go this way instead of that way.
Yeah.
And show people this unique ecosystem that exists apparently nowhere else.
What is the term that they use? A mosaic of floral fauna and sedges, in conjunction with the dirt that the glaciers move down, and so it's all encompassing. Yes, thank you.
And the salmon
Let's
would
make it an amenity to
stream.
the airport, look at our nature hike.
Yeah, we kind of talked about save the dunes or something, like kind of.
Sure, it has land.
Yeah, something taking over and doing something exciting.
That's actually a neat thing that we could certainly consider and look into, is maybe have a walking trail. I know
Make some.
Make it positive.
the Shirley Heights Foundation has that very similar walking trail just to the north of this area right here.
Jessica has brought that up before.
I
You just have to do it on the
lots
opposite
of
side of the
different
fence. You
times.
can't have it
Lots of
inside the
administrations.
fence.
Right, no.
Just have it along
Yeah,
the
like,
fence.
I think that'd be really cool.
Add another piece to your fire, right?
Yes.
The one thing I think on the justification that I don't think we really talked about, but I personally am a civil engineer who, I want to make the world a safer place, is the safety aspect. So when we had to do the benefit, when we did the justification, and Greg said kind of a benefit analysis, the way it is if it were just solely economics, if it were just adding flights and hours, then you got to do the benefit cost analysis. So they want to make sure you get an ROI, or return on investment. But it becomes more than that in this case. It's about preservation of life. And we have had, in recent history, an aircraft go across 20, and thank God nobody was hurt or killed. But it's very possible that could happen. And that's really, our driving force for this project, is we want to make this place a safer airport. The increased utility and the economic benefit obviously are great things too, but at the end of the day, we don't want anybody else, we don't want anybody to get hurt here, so that's our motivation. And the picture behind that disc, if you put it down, it shows the display station, I think.
The big one?
Oh, that white line.
This one?
So is that really good in one way? Right.
Yes.
Right at the beginning of the text, you might.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, the picture underneath.
This one?
Yeah. The south end there, you can see.
Oh, yeah, see right here.
So that's the
Really
real.
shows, so you can't land here, you have to land right here. And that's on this side as well. We still have a display threshold on this side.
And that's because of the trees.
You can back taxi and use it as a takeoff. Use that pavement to take off, but not to land.
It's just not protected coming in on that profile.
Gotcha.
Do proper clearance, like they said.
Yeah. So, and then on your question regarding the warranty, so the FAA requires a 1-year performance warranty on the project. That's pretty standard, it's in the general provisions. But they also require that when you do a rehabilitation project, that it should be able to last 10 years for a rehab project. If it's a brand new runway, it needs to last 20 years. That's the minimum period of performance, they call that. So that's the goal, but the manufacturer will be on the hook, and will certainly be doing a warranty inspection after the winter, because that's the big. And it's not the first time the product's ever been used. It's been used extensively in Ohio, there's some in Michigan, there's some in Tennessee, a lot in Kentucky. There's a lot of airports that just hasn't traditionally been used in Indiana. Indiana's a little slow to adopt things, not in a bad way, we just want to make sure it works, to your point.
So it's not a new product.
Yeah, let's not be the guinea pigs, let's let some other people be some guinea pigs, and then we'll do it. So it is the first in Indiana, but
Well, this airport does have the craziest climate, you know what I mean? So in Indiana,
so if it works here, it'll work in.
It's a good guinea pig for that.
it is.
Yeah. So, thanks for the questions, though. Those are good questions.
They were good.
Well, it looks like,
Nancy.
oh, Nancy, you got something.
No, I don't know where I'm at, I guess I'm public today.
Go ahead.
I just really wanted to thank Jessica for coming to the city council meeting and making a most wonderful presentation about
thank
what
you.
you all do out here. And it was extremely well received, so thanks for doing that.
Yes,
So you can
thanks for
come-
inviting
You
me.
can come back anytime.
Yes, thanks for inviting me.
That's good.
Way to go, just.
And I did declare very boldly that this is the best run department in the city.
Yes, and
She did.
walking out of the meeting, there were quite a few people that made comments to me walking out. I was a little scared.
You're gonna have a lot of people shadowing you now.
Yeah, right?
New rock
It's
star.
because Tim.
Right.
It's all because Tim's my boss.
She's always been a rock star.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like we've had another good meeting. There is no, if there are no additional comments.
I'll make a motion to
Ask-
adjourn.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
I second.
all right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
Have a good day.